Hello, everybody. Welcome to Amateur Hour Sports for your Thursday off-season stream. It is September 12th, 2024. We're out here today to discuss some Raptors stuff, some NBA stuff, and I've got my special guest, Juno, my dog, joining me. If it's not the Wi-Fi that's a problem, it's the dog that's a problem. Of course, we can't just have a stream. You can't just have a normal, nice stream where, we just hang out, no problem. What's the problem? What's the problem? What? You want to come say hi? Want to go on the couch? I don't know. Come here. I don't know. Now my other dog, my parents' dog is here, tall enough to be in frame. Here, Greta, come here. Come say hi. Come say hi. Up here. Come up. Here's Greta. Hi, Greta. This is the crazy dog that I have to be in at my parents' house to dog sit. I can't have that dog in Toronto. It's actually peculiar. They're running downstairs. They're going to play. My dog is very good outside, very behaved, very quiet, can chill. That's fine. My parents' dog is very bad outside. Good walking, great at everything until she sees a dog. Loses it. No control. And believe me, we've put in work to train her and things are a lot better, but just goes ballistic. Inside, opposite. My parents' dog, nice and calm, chill. My dog is egged on by my parents' dog and just always wants to do something and barks all the time. So combined, they cannot exist together in a Toronto apartment, which is where I reside. So for a couple weeks out of the year, each year, my parents go on vacation. I stay at their house with my girlfriend and we watch the dogs. But this is the last day that I will be here and not in Toronto. I go back tomorrow to my home in Toronto. So the last day you have this ugly stream set up. But I think it's served pretty well. At the end of the day, for streams, I guess, the microphone's going to be the same as the one in my apartment. So it's going to sound the exact same. Maybe not, maybe a little more echoey, but it won't look as good. Anyways, I don't know what they're doing. They're quiet. One might say too quiet, but we'll deal with any repercussions later. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me for this Thursday stream. What we got on the menu for today, I'm going to be going through the 2021 NBA draft and redrafting it. We finished the series of ranking players in each position. Now we're going to do some redrafts starting with 2021. Obviously, the draft that includes Scotty Barnes. So we'll figure out where he ends up on my list as far as the redraft goes. He's going to be pretty high, but is he good enough to go number one? Last year, he was not. This year, perhaps different. We're also going to be talking a little bit about DeMar DeRozan. Was doing some media hits this week, talking about his time with the Raptors, how it ended according to him prematurely. And there was one specific thing he said about the championship team that I don't necessarily agree with, Mr. DeRozan. So we'll talk about that. And anything you guys may have along the way, you can put in the chat and we will get to everything. So make sure you comment in the chat what you're feeling, what you want to discuss, and we can certainly get to that as well. But, it's another week here where nothing new in the Raptors space. We've continuously talked about this, but it's been a weird summer. I've been doing content about the Raptors for a number of years, and every summer has had its saga. Going into last summer, it was like a trade could be afoot. Damian Lillard was available. Were we going to trade Pascal Siakam? What direction was the team going in? With the season before, Kevin Durant was in the trade block. A lot of stuff came out about that. The Raptors put themselves in a really good position to make a trade, and then didn't get traded. But that was an ongoing saga. The year before, the Raptors drafted Scotty Barnes. That was huge news. I mean, the channel blew up that summer. This summer, as much as I'm, doing my best to put out content still, and honestly, a YouTube comment actually made me feel better because a YouTube comment said, "You're going ham this summer." I'm like, I don't know. It certainly doesn't feel that way, but I've been doing my best, but there's just I feel like it's a bigger struggle than normal to come up with video topics. But yesterday, I apologize. I did say I would do a video Wednesday, Friday. That didn't materialize. Ultimately, my day got really congested yesterday. And the video that I was going to do for yesterday, I heard big noise. Ball. It's just a hard ball I put in. Anyways, saved it for Friday. That video is done. It's scheduled for tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's coming out. It's scheduled. That's ready to go. So there won't be any issues on that front. But yeah, I guess that's one way to look at it. I should say what's up to the people in the chat. We got Sumaya here. We got Danbury Sports Highlights. We got Doug B, one of the members, and Tom Graham as well from the land down under coming through here. Always take dog or Wi-Fi. But yeah, no Wi-Fi issues today yet. The Wi-Fi here is spotty, which is very annoying. The Wi-Fi in my apartment is just pristine. When I moved out and got my own Wi-Fi, I made sure my girlfriend was handling the Wi-Fi. We had like different tasks, and my girlfriend ended up with the Wi-Fi task. I said, get the fucking primo Wi-Fi. Not having any issues, and I don't, granted, in my apartment. We did have some on Tuesday. I actually had, it's been spotty through the day, but it seems okay right now. But yes, the dogs, I guess, are better than oh my God, man. We did like 4 different stream links last time because it was just so crazy. Chuck the sickle today so can watch the stream properly. Chuck the sickle. What does that mean? Chucked a sickle today so... Oh, Chuck the sicky. Okay. I read sickle. Chuck the sicky, which I would assume means called in sick. Yeah. Like I said, I read sickle. What is this? What is this Australian terminology I'm not aware of? Yes. Chuck the... Yeah. You know what? Chuck the sicky... To me, would be, I think if in Ontario slang, that would mean you threw up. But Chuck the sicky would likely mean called in sick in this instance. So that's a good one. I'm gonna start saying Chuck the sicky when somebody throws up and I'm recounting the story. The fact is, no news makes your videos that much more valuable. Like it's like a content desert. Okay, well, it's an interesting way to. Sorry with the dogs. It's an interesting way to look at it. Get out of here. Greta, go. She'll follow you. Go. Go. Greta, go out. Out. Go. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I guess if there's not a lot for me to report on, I suppose, then there isn't a lot of content out there, period. So I guess if you're looking for Raptors content, it's a good destination to go find it, would be the channel. That's interesting. I was saying something about somebody still is going ham, which I don't really think so. But hey, any kind words are always appreciated. I'm doing my best, 100%. But I'm looking forward to the season starting. It's less than a month away from preseason. They are wrestling over a ball back here. Take it downstairs, man. Get out of here. Reminds me smoko. Also a great term. A smoko? Jeez. The terminology's escaping me today. This I don't know. I don't know what that is. How's dinner? Dinner was decent. My lunch was fantastic. A new taco place opened up near me. And, or not near me, near my parents. I went to go try. Oh, it was fantastic. My dinner was a bit of leftovers, so it wasn't as good as the fresh, but it was a little bit cold because I guess I could heat it up, but still very good. Lunch, though, was fantastic, this taco place that I tried. Not sure if I should say reveal too much about the location, but I guess I don't know how often I made it aware. Anyway, people know where I'm from. Anyways, new taco place. It was very good. Man, no. Not being in Toronto, god damn, it's shit cheap if you're not in Toronto. I'm just so accustomed to Toronto pricing. So if I went into a taco joint in Toronto, like how much you guys, I don't know how many of you are actually like from Toronto, but you might know like about Toronto food pricing. If I were to go to Toronto to get a taco, like let's say I wanted 2 tacos, how much do you think like 2 tacos would cost at a taco joint downtown Toronto, which is where I live? This is the reason I don't typically go out. I don't really ever go out for tacos. probably like $6 each. I'm thinking $6 each. I went to Taco Fest in Toronto, and essentially like the cheapest tacos. There was very few in the event that were $4. Most of the cheap ones were $6. There was $4, $6, $8, and sometimes even like $10 tacos, like the gourmet ones, I guess. But even like the cheapest ones were pretty much $6 across the board each. I went to this place near my parents. They don't live in Toronto. They do live in the GTA though, kind of, pretty much. 4 tacos for $14. It was like I just couldn't believe it. 4 tacos for $14. I don't know where you're from. I don't know if that's crazy. 14 Canadian dollars for 4 tacos is obscene. Not obscene. Obscene is negative, but the opposite of obscene. I was astonished. I love this place, and the food was amazing. In Toronto, you get crappy tacos for $6 each, so that was it was good. Dinner, yeah, leftovers. Tacos don't go leftover very well. You know, you gotta. It was. Listen, I didn't leave no leftovers. My girlfriend had some leftovers because it was such a good deal. I said you have to get the 4 for $14, so she did. She only had 2. She was gonna eat the 2 later, but then she ended up going out for dinner. So with her sister, not with a guy. Well, so it would be fine with her sister, and I had them because, like, yeah, I'm not gonna let these go to waste. Yeah, tacos not fantastic as leftovers. The meat, leftover taco meat's fantastic, but like the assembled taco, now maybe not quite as much. I'm really rambling today, aren't I, guys? I'm really rambling. Yeah, less than a month away from preseason basketball. Raptors will be in action. I believe it is on October 8th. I am pumped up for that. I have a video coming out tomorrow talking about Emmanuel Quickley. One of like a little bit of a spoiler for one of the things I'm looking for from Emmanuel Quickley this season and what I want to see in preseason. Like, let this guy launch. Just launch that basketball, man. I've developed a better appreciation for like the Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet days. I you know, as I've been covering the Raptors on this channel for like 4 years. Would it be 4 years? 2019. I started 2020. Yeah. 4 years I've been covering the Raptors on this channel, and my ability to perceive winning basketball, like my ability to process winning basketball, has changed dramatically. You know, like I started out thinking like D'Angelo Russell. I used to really think very highly of him, thinking he was underrated, and then the more I really dug into the sport, which is, you know, this covering the Raptors has forced me to do to a higher level, the more I look at a player like D'Angelo Russell and think, man, keep this guy away from my basketball team. Anyways, over the course of my time covering the Raptors, you know, we've had the Lowry days, of course. I miss Lowry as well. We had the Fred VanVleet days, which I also miss. But one thing I did not particularly care for about their game a lot was the volume of pull-up jumpers they took from 3. Kyle Lowry, you know, goes at the point of attack, shifts like one way, pulls up. It just felt like an early shot clock kind of ways. Fred VanVleet would dribble up court in transition, yank a 3, takes like 8 pull-up 3s a game. I've developed a much more profound appreciation for that type of player now that, what are you looking at? Now that the Raptors don't really have one, or didn't have one for a good period of time this season. Quickly is now having to, what's a word for fast other than quickly? Maybe Quickly very quickly has had to learn how to be that lead point guard option in terms of pull-up 3s. So I talked about that in the video a little bit. I don't know what you're barking at, man. No. You get out of here. Go lay down. I put the bed here for you. Maybe Quickly had to really change his approach from scoring. No. Come on. Go on the couch here. I'm not following you. Maybe Quickly really had to change his approach of scoring from being, you know, much more of a catch and shoot threat. I mean, he had his on-ball stuff in New York too, but much less catch and shoot stuff with the Raptors and a lot more pull-up 3s. He was taking like 4 a game for the Raptors. He's got to be at least 6. I mean, he's got to be at least 6 pull up 3-pointers a game. He's good enough that it's efficient, where it's not super pleasing on the eye to watch a player, walk up the court and shoot. But the reality is, in a lot of those settings, that player is open and can hit 37% plus of those, and therefore that's an efficient shot, and it helps the team win. So it's not super pleasing, and really, man, when Fred VanVleet did it, did people not like it in the Raptors community? But that's the way it was. I think my dog may have to just go pee. I'm just going to let her in the backyard quickly. More Raptors stuff on the way. Please don't go anywhere. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Just give me a sec, because I hear her whining. I apologize, but I'll be right back. All right. Apologies. Mission was a success. She's still very rowdy. Apologize. Get out of here. Take her downstairs. Go down. Go downstairs. No. She's usually very good at English. You'd be surprised. Go. Go get a toy. Go get a toy. Go get a toy. Go get a toy. Go. Go get a toy. Go get a toy. Go get a toy. Go down. Go get a toy. She'll be back in a minute with a toy to bring me. No question. Anyways, we're talking about just in general, understanding basketball, like way better from covering this and understanding winning players versus like good player. Good at basketball and winning in the NBA, the correlation is not as what's the term? No. You can't work like that. Get out of here. Go. There's not as there's a strong correlation, but not as strong as you might think there. Oh my God. Okay, that's it. Yeah, they're done. Door closed. I was trying to be nice. There's not as strong of a correlation as you might think. And, you just have to learn. You have to learn the ways to play winning basketball. There's a lot of really talented players who are not in the NBA because they didn't play the right brand of winning basketball. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm trying to go through here. Click said, bought DeMar's book, been struggling a little with anxiety, looks like a great read. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, hopefully, you're on the right path to improving that, and hopefully, learning about these experiences from somebody else who's in, such an esteemed position is also fantastic for helping you along that. But wish you all the best. Yeah. DeMar is your GOAT Raptor. He just can't be, right? I mean, he just can't. In terms of what he actually, like, his actual on-court output for the Raptors, probably is, the records that he has. But just the level, the amount of times that it sucks, but the amount of times that playoffs rolled around and he wasn't the same player, he wasn't the player we needed, and some of that was on Dwayne Casey, but a lot of it was on DeMar DeRozan, just not being DeMar in those moments for whatever reason. And some people got it, some people don't. It's unfortunate, but the GOAT Raptors is Kyle Lowry, right? The GOAT Raptors, Kyle Lowry. I can understand a bit of a claim for Vince Carter because he was so massive, and the fact that a Raptors player could be like basically like the face of the league seemed unheard of, and Vince Carter came in and really changed the narrative about the city. Did a lot for helping the franchise grow. Yeah, absolutely. I could see arguments there. Can't really say the franchise GOAT is somebody who kind of quit on the team, though. They're pushing in some good direction with Vince Carter. Quit on the team. I wasn't around. Like I was alive, but I wasn't really in the know-how on the way things are going down at the time. So I don't know how egregious it was, but it seems pretty egregious. I think it's good to have forgiven at this point, but it seems pretty egregious. Yeah, a good rebuttal into the DeRozan thing is that they just kept running into LeBron. Fair point, but also, DeRozan struggled in the non-LeBron series as well, but perhaps there was just too much firepower on the Raptors that didn't affect him as much. As far as a scapegoat, I don't think he was a scapegoat. Actually, he probably was. When they didn't win, he probably was. I mean, look, when your team underperforms and struggles, the face of your franchise best player, the face of your franchise is going to take the biggest heat. And especially if that player doesn't play that well, which DeMar DeRozan kind of did. Okay, I got to fucking do something here. Okay, enough. Get out of here. Get out. Go downstairs. Go down. Go. Leave me alone. Go. Go down. Go. I pay to send these dogs to daycare to run around all day so I can get some work done and then they can chill at night. I don't know how the hell they still have energy. Oh my God. I think DeMar never acknowledged his mentality was the reason he was traded. You can't win with a guy who doesn't believe he can win against LeBron. You need to believe you can beat anybody. Actually, it's an interesting point. I wonder how much. So let's set this up well. DeMar DeRozan was on a podcast or a show recently, and the claim that I wanted to bring up the most was DeMar DeRozan basically said, like, 100%, if he was still there instead of Kawhi Leonard, they would have won the championship that year. Which, it was on First Take. Was it on first? Yeah, it was on First Take. Oh, yeah, I guess. Well, can we? Can we watch? Let's watch. Okay, I used to have a button that let me play sound for you guys. That button doesn't work anymore. Let me see if I can get this to play for y'all. I should be able to. One sec. Oh, not working. Should be working. Let me see. Think we can do it. I'll give you like 1 minute to try this. If not, we'll just not watch it. Okay, so it'd be, sorry, it's gonna be like infinity. Yeah, Infinity Streams for 1 second here. We pull up. Oh, you watch how the shit goes down here. I think it's audio. I haven't done this in a while. Audio input capture. Add source. And then we could do browser. And then we could make it the browser. No? It's not even coming up. It's an option. Oh! Now it's coming through twice. Yeah, sorry. Oh, God. What have I done? I'll try something else because that didn't work. Audio output capture. Let me see if this works. And this, okay, this is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for. Okay. Now we should be able to play the video and have it play for you guys. No way, it should work now. Okay, I mean, it should be working. It isn't. All right. You know what? I know what it is, but I'm not going to fix it. Anyways, I give up. Anyways, what DeMar said essentially was, congratulations to DeMar on his new book, by the way. What DeMar said, and I unfortunately have to kind of roast him here, was that no doubt he felt like he would have won the championship with the Raptors had he stayed and they not traded for Kawhi. I mean, listen, glad, we talked about having the belief in yourself. We talked about belief and all that. The reality likely is they do not win the championship without Kawhi. You look at the Orlando series, they win. They probably still win in 5 with DeMar. You look at the Philadelphia series, game 1, like somewhat tight game. Kawhi drops. I think he dropped 40 in game 1. They just probably don't win that game with DeMar there. Also, the size that they were playing against with Philly, DeMar always struggled against size. That's a hell of a lot of size in that Philadelphia team that he would have struggled against. What? And now that I think about it, if somebody, like if I'm in DeMar's position, they ask me, would you still have won the championship if you were there? What are you going to say? No, no. You lose a lot of defense. That's also correct. Exactly. I'm thinking about the offense here. Think about the Bucks series. DeMar, you don't have Kawhi to guard Giannis, right? You're cooked. You lose that series. They were very close. They won in 6. They were down 2-0 and went to overtime in game 3. They probably go down 3-0 in that series. They may get swept with DeMar there instead of Kawhi. You lose all that defense. But I'm just thinking, if I'm DeMar and somebody asks me, hey, if you were there instead of Kawhi, do you win the championship? What am I going to say? No. What am I going to say? Yeah, with me there instead, we probably wouldn't have won. He probably knows the answer, but he's not going to say it out loud, which is more than fair from his perspective, now that I look at it in that way. But we've been through it. We talked about it. It's so obvious to see how it's just so obvious to see how they would not have won the championship without DeMar. It's so obvious to see they would not have won a championship without Marc Gasol. Every move that had to go into it, like the sheer amount of things that have to align for you to win a championship, like with the team the Raptors had, like you can build a super team, and even then it's still tough. The amount of things that have to align for you to win a championship are astonishing. Like, it's very hard to win. I mean, Boston finally did, but goddamn, they had to reassemble the fucking Avengers to win the championship. Like, how many years of having such a good team and not winning? They get 5 All-Stars. Okay, yeah, now you're gonna probably win the championship. Surely, 5 All-Star players, All-Star caliber players, and you're starting 5. Surely, at that point, yes, Boston, you can win a championship. But that Raptors team was stacked. Yeah, already champion, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Finals MVP before he came to. Yeah, it's Kawhi didn't carry, but man, he was the catalyst. He was the main man of that team, right? With Kawhi, the team always felt like they could come back. They were behind a lot in the series, like in games. I mean, yeah, the ebbs and flows. Game 6, actually, they had a pretty big comeback against the Bucks as well. I remember, I don't know, I actually don't know if this quote is true, but after Game 2, so the Raptors win Game 1 of the NBA Finals at home, go up 1-0. Golden State snatches Game 2, 1-1 series. And then Nick Nurse, I don't know completely if this is true or what, but I remember seeing, this has stuck with me. After Game 2, Nick Nurse essentially said, let's go get one in Golden State, implying let's win one of the next 2. Let's split in the 2 away games. This is what most teams strive for, especially in the NBA Finals. Come back home, tied series, like keep your home court advantage. Nick Nurse said, let's go split in Golden State. And Kawhi said, fuck that, let's get both, which the Raptors did. In fact, the Raptors won all 3 games away from home in that series. Ended up losing 2 out of 3 at home in the series. Kawhi, let's type this. Let's get both. I don't know how true this quote is. Let me see. According to Bucksnat 215. Well, you know what? I will trust a Blake Murphy tweet. So yeah, pretty much we can verify this. We're not gonna get the specific post up. I'm not going back 5 years. Let me see if I can get the actual specific. Yeah, here we go. Nurse says when he told the team, let's go get one in Oakland after Game 2, Kawhi spoke up and said, F that, let's get both. Nurse specifically said expletive, but you can guess what he said. Wow. That kind of mentality, I mean, that's important as well. It's very important to have. I mean, they took over the series. They won Game 3. They took over the series there, and then they got Game 4 as well. I can see a reality where they blow that, but having that championship pedigree in your team after all these years of failure, in a way as a franchise, was big. And that's iconic, man. Fuck that, let's get both. That'd be a sick tattoo, huh? Fuck that, let's get both. I'm not going to get that tattooed. I am getting a Raptors tattoo, finally. In November, guys. Keep a lookout. Your boy's getting some more tats. We're finally acknowledging the Raptors championship with some forever ink on the body. I'm excited. Can't wait to show it off. But yeah, with DeMar, is that all happening? I never say never in sports, but no. Pretty much no. The answer is to that. All right, we're going to shift. Like pain, I'm not a tattoo owner. It actually doesn't hurt that much. It's an oscillating needle. I understand that, but it stings. But everyone always, if somebody gets talking about my tattoos who doesn't have tattoos, they ask how much it hurts. honestly, like there was very few instances in this entire arm, top to bottom, right, is tattooed. There are very few parts I remember that were like none of it was unbearable. I never had to stop. I never asked for like take a break. Not like trying to be a hard ass like tough guy thing or anything. It just I let the artist do their work, and it gets a bit hairy, not literally, in the in the inner elbow right here. Yeah, that stings a bit. There isn't a lot of detail that went into that. And the higher up on the inside of your arm that you go, so the closer you get to your armpit, that is tender. That is tender. I'll tell you that. But again, it's not to a point where I have to stop. And those are like if it's just on my forearm, like it's a constant slight discomfort, which is annoying for like 7 hours, but you put up with it. It's not that bad. If you're thinking about getting tattoos but are scared of the pain associated with it, I feel like I have a higher pain tolerance than average, but you'll be fine. Yeah, worst rib cage is bad. My girlfriend has a tattoo there that was brutal. I don't have any there. I don't plan on ever getting, I don't think, any there. But what are my tats? So I have top to bottom. Let's do this. Microphone. Can we switch sides? Let's go to central. So left arm is... Top of it is two Italian national team players after they won Euro 2020, which was in 2021. But the Euro trophy, European Championship trophy for soccer, Italy won. So I have two of the Italian players. I was going to get an England tattoo if they had won the Euro in 2024. They unfortunately lost the final to Spain. And I would have gotten an England one in 2021 had they beaten Italy. But my backgrounds are Italian and English. So whichever team won, a tattoo was on the way. Out on the side here, we've got a lion, which is the national animal of England, which is one of my backgrounds, as I just mentioned. And the Rose of Tudor, which is the national flower of England, with a soccer ball, because I like soccer. I don't have a basketball tattoo. I guess there actually won't be basketball in my Raptors one, but it'll be basketball related. On the front here, gray wolf, which is the national animal of Italy. The lily, which is the national flower of Italy. You see a theme. Other flowers, I think that's another lily. Those are freesias, because that's my mom's favorite flower. Another rose, because it just looked good with everything else. Clock, related to Manchester United and the Munich air disaster. There is a clock on display outside of Old Trafford, which is where Man United play their home games. And this is the time of the incident, specifically. This is a poem associated with said Munich air disaster associated with Manchester United. So soccer-themed one, Italy, England-themed ones. This arm, now, so all of these were very, personal meaning stuff. Once I finished this arm, I kind of realized I like tattoos and therefore can have a little bit more fun with them for the next arm. Yeah, I just made sure these were all meaningful stuff that would ensure no matter what happens, I would still like them. But now that I like tattoos, I can be a little bit more ambitious and have a bit more freedom. So there's going to be a Raptors one here, which was going to happen regardless. But there's going to be more probably pop culture stuff as well. Things that interest me on my other arm. Initially, my plan was to do my right leg, left arm, right leg. But I tore my ACL in my right knee. And I tore it over a year ago. It's still swollen. It's still tender in the shin area, which is just part of it. And it's more prone to happening again because it's happened once. So I decided not to mess with this leg. Just let the leg be as is. And I didn't do my left leg because I didn't want to be just one half my body tattooed. So again, I am going to do the right arm as the next one. And yeah, we'll have a nice Raptors tattoo up here. It's already been booked, and I'm ready. Can you get a local anesthetic? Probably not. You don't need one. It's really not that bad. I don't think anybody offers anesthesia for anesthesia is very expensive. You know the fun fact, typically the highest paid employee in a hospital is the anesthesiologist, the person who administers the anesthesia for stuff like an ACL surgery, which is what I had. So yeah, that ain't cheap. I don't imagine you can get anesthetics for tattoos. Nor do you really need them. Inner elbows, yeah. This is this is peak content. We're hanging out. There's not a lot of Raptors news. I'm glad 28 people are going to hear the story. I don't really want to. Let's say I don't want to spoil it. There is a Raptors tattoo coming. It's influenced heavily by the championship, and I am very excited. I spent a lot of time planning out the Raptors one, and I did. Well, this is one thing that's not. I did try my best to get the CN Tower involved, but it's such an awkward thing. It's just very thin and long, right? It's very long. So I was thinking like skyline stuff, but it just like the proportions just never really worked out. So no CN Tower involved, but it is a Raptors themed one. As you can see with most of these tattoos, I go very more abstract with the meaning and their significance towards things in my life. So it's not going to be a player or anything like that, but it's a little bit more to the point than some of the other ones that I have. Makes sense. You fuck up those, either wake up earlier or not at all. Yeah. So the anesthetics are extremely important towards any operation and therefore very expensive. I would strongly consider a Dennis Schroeder tattoo if it was temporary. Yeah, temporary. I do like whatever. I'm at the point where I don't know. I don't know if I'd do like a tattoo bet, but my friend actually has a bet on yourself tattoo, which if you don't know is Fred VanVleet's model, because during the 2019 championship run, Fred VanVleet was, if you remember, horrific for the first 2.5 playoff series. Just horrific. He was getting, I wasn't betting at the time, but me and my friend would be setting like essentially over under 3 points for Fred VanVleet because we just was so bad. Then famously he had a child and exploded in the rest of the Milwaukee series, was influential in that series comeback, was fantastic in the NBA Finals. In fact, took a Finals MVP vote away from Kawhi Leonard, which I reference quite a lot. But anyways, while Fred VanVleet was playing so bad in the playoffs, my friend said if he has one game where he averages, or one game where he scores more than 20 points, which is crazy to think about now, but that's how bad he was. If he has one game with 20 plus points, I'll get a Fred VanVleet tattoo. So ended up happening. And he got himself a bet on yourself tattoo, which is, it's fine, right? It's a cool little motto to have, but I've never made a bet like that in regards to a tattoo. Well, I guess my bets with tattoos are like England in the Euros. If England win the Euros, I'm getting an England tattoo. They didn't win, but I think I'll probably every significant championship in my true fanhood years, which is like I'd say like 20 plus. When I was younger, I'm a big Manchester United fan. I have Manchester United themed tattoos. But when I was younger, Manchester United won the league every year, and if they didn't win one year, they just win the next year. So I didn't really appreciate that stuff at the time. At this age, I'm very appreciative of any significant championship. So Stanley Cup, World Series, NBA Championship, World Cup, European Championship, maybe Champions League as well. I'll probably get a tattoo to signify that in some way. And yeah, I'll just be filled up with, if I have a good life, I'll be filled up with trophies all over my body. Hopefully the Raptors do it again. Hopefully, well, I don't know. I already have a Raptors one. Maybe, like if the Raptors I'll like add on a little bit to the Raptors one that's going to be here. You know what I mean? But yeah, as far as bets, I haven't done like a negative bet. Like I'll get a crap tattoo because they're expensive. By the way, it's an expensive bet to make, and they're permanent and all. Tattoo bet for Spalding ball on forehead. How about the Spalding ball on the top, like Gary Trent has. Gary Trent has like the Spalding. It's branded as well, which is crazy. Gary Trent Spalding tattoo. Why? You know, just realizing. So here's Gary Trent's tattoo. I believe that's his dad, and he's got the Spalding ball, the NBA official ball. Not anymore, but it was the official ball. You know what I just remembered? J.R. Smith, when he was still in the league, got a big Supreme tattoo up his calf. And the NBA made him cover it up for games because it was promotional to another company. The same way LaMelo Ball has a tattoo on his neck of his own personal logo, but the NBA views that as promotional of something that doesn't sponsor the NBA. Therefore, he has to cover it up for games. What I just thought about, Gary Trent has a Spalding tattoo. The NBA is now Wilson. They have Wilson basketballs. But Gary Trent's still allowed to freely have his Spalding tattoo wide open. I feel like they haven't necessarily caught that because that is actually a breach of NBA rules. He should not be. I mean, I'm not going to ask for him to have to cover up his tattoo. It's just interesting that that's not a problem when it is a problem for other people, you know? Rules against advertising. Exactly. It's the rule against advertising. So the Spalding ball shouldn't be allowed. My last name is Wilson. Can you get a Wilson ball tat? I'm not going to do a Wilson basketball tattoo either. I guess in certain way I am getting bad. I am the Larry O'Brien trophy features in my eventual Raptors tattoo. So maybe over time you'll be able to piece together what it's going to look like. But it's already September. I'm getting it in 2 months, man. It's creeping up. Getting it November 9th or 10th. I'm getting 2 tattoos. I call it 2. I'm gonna do a sleeve like this, but this was not done in one. This is 5 different tattoos that make up a sleeve, and I made sure the artist, whoever was doing it, blended it in so that it would look cohesive in the end. But this was every 6 months for 2.5 years. This one's gonna be a straight shot. So the Raptors one that was here. It was going to take over a full day. It was going to take like a full day of pay for the tattoo artist, plus an additional 2 hours the next day to finish. So I said, okay, like if I'm going to come in for a second day anyways, let's just make it two full days and do the entire upper arm instead of having to just, wait. And because I didn't really want it just bare out here and then nothing here. So it's going to be elbow up on this arm when that's done. What was the first basketball? It was... Actually, it was, what did James say? First basketball used. They used a soccer ball. That was the first basketball, technically. Invented by Canadian, by the way. Canadian invented basketball, if we're not aware, which you should be at this point. Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame is named after the creator of basketball, James Naismith, who was Canadian, who, when it was first created, you could not move if you had the ball in your hands. Obviously, you can now dribble and move. That was not the case at the time, but they used a soccer ball and 2 peach baskets. And then when the ball went in, they had to use a ladder to climb up to get the ball out of the peach basket. I'm going to assume they didn't score very much, or else that'd be very, very, very inconvenient, but it was very inconvenient. First basketball was just a soccer ball. I feel like I think rugby was derived from soccer. A lot of things derive from soccer because it's so old. Rugby derived from soccer. I think what happened was somebody was playing soccer and got upset, so they grabbed the ball and started running. And then naturally, everyone started trying to tackle that guy to get the ball off him. And then rugby started because ball in hands, running, people trying to tackle him. So it was derived a little bit from soccer as well, from what I know. Soccer just branches out. I wonder how who thought of baseball? Yeah, how do people think of sports in general? Soccer. Soccer makes sense. You kick a ball. The concept of a net though, like who thought of that, right? because that's like the bread and butter of a lot of sports. You put an item in a net in some way, right? Soccer, hockey, say football, basketball, lacrosse. Lacrosse is very old. By the way, Canada's national sport is not hockey. Canada's national game is hockey. Canada's national sport, believe it or not, is lacrosse. And we invented basketball. But yeah, the concept of rugby makes sense. Rugby makes sense. You if you want to secure an item, you'd hold it, and to stop somebody from getting past you, you'd tackle them, and you want to get past a certain region. That makes sense. Football doesn't really make sense. Soccer kind of makes sense. Basketball kind of makes sense because it's like, you're each trying to put it in the basket. That makes sense. Hockey's a weird one. Yeah, it was a ball at first. Let's hit this ball around with sticks. Let's take a stick and put a net on it and throw a ball with it and then throw that into a net. That's who is thinking of these things. Necessity. Necessity is the mother of all inventions. Think of some of the world's big tragedies. They're horrible, but you look at let's say World War II, for example. Obviously horrible for the world, but the advancement in technologies that occurred from the World War having existed were astronomical. It set us on an exponential course as far as technological development is concerned, because of that, because it was so necessary to put funding and resources into getting things done and figured out now. The amount of stuff that probably got done from a scientific front in COVID, like the necessity is there. Necessity is the mother of all invention. I mean, just in, like, even something as simple as you're out for a day and you're tired. You need to find somewhere to sit. You manufacture a seat out of something. And that's invention in a way. Y'all ever play watermelon football? I have never played watermelon football. You slather a watermelon in Vaseline. I feel like it'd be better to play rugby like that, So many games evolved from how can we make it more challenging to score. Yeah, it is interesting. It's so hard to come up with a new sport. What is think of like what's an example of a new sport? Like Quidditch. They don't call it Quidditch anymore because they're trying to break ties with J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter. But anyways, I was on the Toronto Island a month ago, and there was a Quidditch practice going on. So somebody, not only did an author whose views on things are maybe not the most agreeable, but somebody created a universe within literature, and then created a sport within that universe, and then the book, the Harry Potter saga was so captivating, and the sport was so well thought out that people now actually play this sport in real life. They don't fly, obviously. They don't pretend to. You do have to hold a stick in between your legs, though. That's the caveat of the game. So you're playing a lot of it one-handed. You're running around. There's the three, hoops that are the nets with different points. I don't think there's a golden snitch because the golden snitch is kind of OP. I never understood Quidditch. Harry Potter, that's the entire game. You shouldn't even play the game. Everybody should just be going. They have one seeker. If you know Harry Potter, there's one seeker, right? Explain to me why not every single player should just be going to the snitch to end that as fast as possible. Anyways, yeah, a lot of universities have Quidditch teams. Not that they compete under U Sports or anything, but or OUA, Ontario University Athletics, if you play in Ontario. But they have intramurals for this. And again, I saw them playing Quidditch. It was something. Not my thing. Everybody's got their thing. Everybody, has their passions. That's not one of mine. Complete power to the people who play that, right? Wow, these are the really good streams where I don't even need to plan out material. I have material and I still need to get to some, but you just go through it and you just chat, right? All right, I do need to get out of here, and I do need to do the 2021 redraft. So I'm just gonna quickly go to the bathroom. When I come back, we'll finish this conversation up, and I'm gonna go through my 2021 NBA draft redraft. I did a top 10 redraft, so give me a sec, guys. I'll be right back, and we'll get right to that. Let's finish up here. Probably better to find old sport that's been forgotten about. I seem to remember a sport. Scribner. Well, Google's our friend. These obscure sports can still live because, information exists on them. Nope, I don't see... No. Hang on, Scribner. No, Scribner exists in like some ways. Scribner sport. I don't know. I think it's like a person. Anyways, a lot of sports, they suffer from like marketing. Marketing can completely change the image of a sport. I'm a big follower of professional darts, which I've said before, but it could come as a surprise to you. Not many people are, but darts was getting more and more popular in like the 60s and the 70s, but it was kind of in a bit of a rut in the 90s. And the governing body that oversaw darts was called the British Darts Organization, otherwise known as the BDO. But in 1994, some of the best players in the world broke off from the BDO and started their own governing body. So imagine like NFL and AFL sort of thing, where the NFL or people are unhappy in the NFL go to, or let's think of an NBA example. The ABA was formed to compete with the NBA. The PDC, the Professional Darts Corporation, was made to compete with the British Darts Organization, the BDO. Anyways, the people involved with the PDC took a much better approach towards marketing. So they started doing kind of like wrestler gimmicks where you'd have walkouts to your music, like you'd pick a song, you'd have nicknames, and it became a much more party atmosphere rather than the quiet, hush, professional BDO where it was quiet, there was no crowd noise. It was kind of like watching golf. PDC comes around, it's more of a party atmosphere, cheering all throughout and stuff like that. And that helped the sport gain in popularity, and the sport has completely taken off in the last 10 years, specifically the last year or so. The sport has completely taken off, but it's the marketing that goes into it sometimes. So sometimes maybe there's a good sport out there that never got the right marketing to truly succeed, and it's such a saturated industry that it's hard to really come up with a new one at this point. All right, guys, let's get to what we are here for. The meat, if you will, of the stream here. It's been 3 years, right? We're 3 years removed from it. Some of the players that were involved with it are already on their rookie max extensions. Scotty Barnes, Franz Wagner, Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, I think, are the only four. But we're 3 years removed. We're in max contract territory. Let's revisit the 2021 NBA draft and see who goes in the top 10. Does Scotty Barnes go number one? Last year, he wasn't the number one player in this redraft, but this year, we'll see if things can change. So for starters, there's more than 10 players because I don't like to do... If I feel like there's a guy who's just missing out on the top 10, I don't want to completely omit him from the list because then it'll be like, how could you not put this guy? So if the guy is not here, I have 12 players. If he's not on my list, he wasn't really close to being on either. But I feel like 10, 11, 12 were really close and were toying with me that I decided to put all of them on the list. We're going to start with number 12 on the list, which is Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves, if think about it right now, by the way, how old is Austin Reeves, do you think? It's a bit crazy because he hasn't been in the league like super, super long, but he was an undrafted free agent, did not get drafted. I believe the only undrafted player who was on this list, I'd go 12th here. Austin Reeves is 26 years old now, so he's not exactly like a super young player, but he's not old either. I think one of the best traits Austin Reeves has is ability to attack off of pick and rolls. Really good pick and roll ball handler, good shooter, a really nice complementary player that isn't costing the Lakers too much. A really great gem of a find for the Lakers to be rolling with. I think his age played on my mind a little bit when I was trying to evaluate him to players in the 11th spot and the 10th spot on this list. Because number 11 on the list is Herb Jones. Again, I nearly put him in the 10th position, but he goes 11th in this redraft. He was drafted in a bit of a steal of a spot at 35th overall. I remember the first time I watched Herb Jones play, the Raptors were playing against the Pelicans, and Herb Jones was matched up against Pascal Siakam in some peak Pascal Siakam days. He was matched up against Pascal Siakam, and Siakam really had a tough time. And it was early on in Herb Jones' career as a second-round pick, and I was like, dude, this Herb Jones guy is really good. Do people, I'm not as in tune with the rest of the league sometimes. Do people know about this? Like, is this a known thing? And it's like, yeah, he's picking up a lot of steam, and rightfully so. Fantastic defender who took the leap as somebody who's able to be an efficient three-point shooter. Turning into such a great 3-and-D mold. He's a phenomenal defender, getting better as a three-point shooter. Great player to have with the New Orleans Pelicans. He is slightly edged by his teammate, though, Trey Murphy. I think the efficiency and the ability, the higher level of ability to score is the reason I went with Trey Murphy ahead of Herb Jones. As much as Herb Jones is a fantastic defender, Trey Murphy is just so goddamn efficient as a shooter that I had to put him in this 10th position here. Not sure he's like the most talented out of the three guys that we've gone for in this list, but I think his impact is the greatest out of all of them as a result of his ability to shoot. So for that reason, we're going to put Trey Murphy here. He actually went 17th overall, and the biggest thing he's progressed on is his ability as a three-point shooter, which is the reason why he lands at number 10 on my list. Now we have a bit of a jump, I'd say. These guys were comfortably going to be a top 10 pick. Starting with Jalen Green, number 9. Now, as much as it's a comfortable top 10 pick, I think Jalen Green could realistically end up at 5th on this list. That's probably the highest that he could realistically go. No, the highest he realistically could have gone is 6th. He actually went 2nd overall in the draft. He was just branded, and I remember covering this draft as such a dominant isolation scorer, a guy who could get buckets. Like, this guy got you buckets. And for a Raptors team that needed that, and maybe still needs it, I was really excited about the potential of them getting him in the draft. But he ended up going 2nd overall to the Rockets, which, good thing because the Raptors got the superior player in my book in Scotty Barnes. But took a lot of good strides last season, is still very inefficient, which is one of the reasons why I knock him on this list. I think you could easily convince me he should be a lot higher, but the inefficiencies, and I'm not completely sold on his game yet. If Houston were sold on his game, he'd have an extension, and the max extension, but he doesn't. And a big reason why is the inefficiency in his game. Just, is that a guy that's going to be playing winning basketball down the line? I'm like supreme winning basketball. I'm not sure, which is why I go 9. Number 8, and I almost switched these two, but Jonathan Kuminga for me, he's not as good as Jalen Green is right now, but he goes 8th in my redraft. He actually went 7th overall in this draft, which was a little bit low actually considering some of the hype that he had, but like tiny bit lower than expected. Regardless, he really blossomed last season in a bigger role. He's getting better. He's the most athletic player from this draft class, so scaling up is going to be a lot easier for him than perhaps some other guys. And I think playing in an environment where he gets more touches is just going to be massive for his game. If he wasn't on the Golden State Warriors, like maybe if he was on any other team in the NBA, I think people would think so much more highly of Jonathan Kuminga because he'd have such a bigger impact. But for now, he's still doing a lot for this team, even with a log jam of players, and I think his role is only going to stand to improve. I think we're gonna see Kuminga in 20-point per game territory at some point in the next few years. 15 points per game last season. His role should continue to increase. Golden State are hesitant to pay him the max, which is a report that I saw today. Understandably, that's a lot of money, but I won't rule out Kuminga playing himself into that conversation this season. He should take the year to try and figure that out. One sec. Number 7, another one that's kind of interchangeable, but I feel like he's comfortably above the 2 players below him. He could move up. I had him 1 spot higher previously, but I just kept it here. But it is Jalen Suggs. He actually went 5th overall to the Orlando Magic. It was rather shocking when the Raptors passed on him with the 4th overall pick, but they made the right calls. I have Barnes higher than Jalen Suggs on this list. A year ago, Jalen Suggs would not have been on this list, probably. But he has improved tremendously as a defender and as a 3-point shooter. Coming in when I wanted the Raptors to draft him 4th overall, and a famously bad take, obviously. I mean, a lot of people wanted the Raptors to draft 5th overall. Some of the hiccups from his game that made people not want to draft him was his 3-point shooting and a little bit his defense, which are now his 2 strongest attributes towards being a player that plays winning basketball. This is a player you have on your team if you want to win a championship. He is such a great complementary piece to a starting 5. He's not your lead guy, which is why he's 7th on this list, but what a fantastic asset to have for any team in the NBA to use a guy like this who has great size, great shooting, great defense, and great ball handling. Fantastic for the way he has progressed. Confidence through the roof. Yeah, his confidence playing in that bigger role has really taken a 180 from what looked like perhaps a bust in year 1, honestly. Completely reversed that fantastic player. I originally had him 6th, and I had this player in 7th. But there is so much to like about Jalen Johnson, who actually went 20th overall. But my God, did he take a jump last season. Should have probably got some most improved player considerations. But Jalen Johnson is a do-it-all sort of player in the power forward spot. He can handle the ball a little bit. Great scorer, great rebounder, good defender, great size. Like the Hawks, through all the crap they went through last season, they found an absolute gem of a player to continue to build with going forward. They've had a lot of misses in drafts, the Atlanta Hawks, in the last 5, 6, 7 years. This by no means is one. Scaled up a ton last season, and I think he can continue to scale up his role on this dwindling Hawks team. And, maybe could he be the driving force of this team going forward? He's very good. And if you don't know now, you will know very, very soon. Number 5 on the list, top 5 were comfy. The top 5 were the solidified top 5. By the end of the list, it's Evan Mobley. People think he should have won the Rookie of the Year award for this draft class. Did not go to him, ended up going to Scotty Barnes. But the thing about Evan Mobley since that time, well, a lot of other guys in his class are getting better, developing new skills. It feels like Evan Mobley has relatively stayed as a similar player. Still a great defender, fantastic defender, we know that. Offensively, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they got Jared Allen, they got Evan Mobley. They should commit to one, and you should commit to the younger player. But Jared Allen's probably better than Evan Mobley on, you'd argue, both ends of the floor. Definitely on offense. The reality is he still can't shoot. There's still issues there, but as a rim runner, fantastic player. Borderline elite defender. That's enough to put the former 3rd overall pick in the 5th spot on my list. But, it's an interesting situation brewing with Cleveland. They know they got to make a decision, but they just won't do it. So we'll see what happens. Number 4 on the list, maybe a bit low for some of you, but it is the former 1st overall pick, and that is Cade Cunningham. I think the biggest thing for me with Cade is health has been a bit of a factor, but the efficiency in his game. He's a pretty inefficient three-point shooter. Takes a lot of pull-ups, but he's not super efficient at it. Obviously, the most gifted player in this class was the unanimous 1st overall pick, if that's the right word. But the reason he's 4 and not higher is just down to the efficiency. Maybe, I'm excited to see what he looks like on a better team one day, but is this somebody I see scaling up as a 1st option player? Probably not, which, you could maybe say for the guys who are ahead of him on this list. Gifted passer, gifted scorer, great player, but we're talking some real dogs in the top 3 here. Number 3, Alperen Sengun. I so wanted to put him higher on this list, but for me, he has every tool on offense. Every tool. Amazing passer to the high post. Dominant paint scorer. Dominant post-up player. Showing signs of a 3-point shot. The problem will be for him can a really good team get away with him on defense at center? Because he's not a great defender still. He's getting better, but he's not a great defender, which you like having your center being a great defender. Jokic provided the mold of, figuring out how to be effective enough and for your team to hide it enough to win a championship, because Jokic's also just bonkers good. That will be the decisions around Alperen Sengun going forward, which is an interesting one. But nonetheless, a steal at 16th overall. Sorry, there's a typo up there, but steal at 16th overall. The Raptors, who were flirting with like a late top 10 pick in that draft class, I wanted him. I wanted Sengun. 8th, 9th, 10th overall, I wanted Sengun. And the fact that he kept slipping was very frustrating on draft night. I wanted the Raptors to trade back in to get him. Didn't materialize. The Houston Rockets traded for him after the Oklahoma City Thunder drafted him. And what a decision that was. All-star ability. Definitely has all-star ability. I think he should have been in that conversation this season, which is why I wanted to toss him at number 2. But just the defense scares me a little bit. I feel like if I was drafting a player, I would go with Franz Wagner at 2nd overall instead of him. He actually went 8th overall to the Orlando Magic. One of my worst takes of all time. Definitely did not believe in Franz Wagner ahead of the draft. I thought he was a guy that was, decent at a bunch of things, not great at anything. He's now great at a lot of things. He's not necessarily the lead guy with Orlando right now, but he's got a lot of tools as a shooter, as a scorer, as a passer, getting better on defense. Great size for the position. Amazing core to be working with going forward for that team, having Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner involved. But as much as Franz maybe would have gone 1st overall in this redraft last year, he's not 1st this year. Because our boy, Scotty Barnes, who's 1st overall in this one, Scotty Barnes is, I'd say, the popular choice at this point to go first overall. Do it all star. There's no facet of his game that I don't think is already like usable in the NBA. Like, he's good at everything. He's great at a lot of things, but he's good at minimum at everything with a chance of continuing to scale up. I don't understand why people think he cannot be the first option on a contending team. He has every skill. He has every skill. And he's only going to get better at 23 years old. That is the first overall pick. To a bit of my surprise, kind of looking at Reddit forums about this, the real consensus top choice is Scotty Barnes, even in just general NBA forums, which was a bit of a surprise to me. And look, if that's the case, if the general NBA consensus is Scotty Barnes is the best player from the draft class, like, it should be obvious. Scotty Barnes is the best player. There's a lot of great players in this draft class. The Raptors struck gold and got the best player at 4th overall. Another famous bad take from your boy, not wanting Scotty Barnes in draft night. I wanted Jalen Suggs, just like probably the majority of Raptors fans did, but thankfully I was wrong, and the Raptors took Barnes and got the best player in the draft class. And as an added bonus, Gregory, Barnes's dogs and my dog get along very well, so that's a bonus. That, you know what, that's the cherry on top of Barnes being the best player and would go first overall in my 2021 redraft. Yeah, on multiple occasions, 2, which is more than one. Barnes's dog, actually both dogs the second time, he's 2 now, and my dog were get along very well at the dog park. And I have famously amongst this community, I have famously met Scotty Barnes one time. Good story there on that one. Lucky, just random. Of all the players you can meet, of all the celebrities you can meet, it's probably the main celebrity that influences my life like the most because of the channel, right? And I call him short. Yeah, shorter than I thought he. Tell you, Dwight Powell, another guy. It's like, you'd think he's a center, right? When I saw Dwight Powell, it's like, he's tall, but he's not like this is a center. He's a short center, relative, but they're on the Giants. You'd think they'd be like, and I obviously have like these wild expectations for how tall I think they're going to be because they're NBA players, of course. But no, I didn't get that at Barnes. I wasn't like, whoa, when I saw him. I'm not short. I'm 6 feet tall, but like he's like 6'9", 6'8". Anyways, that's what it is. I didn't see him again, actually. My girlfriend saw him again. With my girlfriend went to the dog park, and he was there with his dogs. I didn't go that time, and I was like, I already met him. I don't need to meet him. I mean, what do I do if I meet him again? I guess he won't remember me, so I may as well just get another photo. But I'm sure I will. I mean, I live in Toronto. I'm around stuff. I imagine I will run into him again. Get a dog, frequent Toronto dog parks, and you might just meet Scotty Barnes one day, guys. That's don't do that. I did my best to try and hide the location of the photo so that people weren't looking for him or anything, but that's it. Yeah, for a dog play, can you imagine? Hey man, our dogs got along so well that, let's set up a dog play date. Go to the park, maybe, grab some lunch after. What do you think? What are you saying, dog? No, I don't think so. That'd be funny, though. Could you imagine? He'd probably block me. Yeah, that's what would probably happen. Anyways, guys, that is all for the stream today. Did I ever tell him I do Raptors content? No, I didn't. I thought that would have been disrespectful. Again, the whole situation that lined up to it, in brief, it was dead. It was an ugly day. Gloomy. It had rained earlier, so it was muddy. Ugly day. Dog park was dead. Only me, my girlfriend, Scotty Barnes, and the dogs there. I just saw my dog playing with his dog. It was actually just the one dog, his one dog at the time. My dog, his dog were playing. I was just chilling. Didn't even take notice of the guy over there. But eventually he walked near me on speakerphone out loud in public. Come on, Scotty. And right away I was like, holy shit, that's fucking Scotty Barnes. What the hell is going on? Scotty Barnes is at the same dog park as me. I was waiting for him to get off his phone call to ask for a photo. His phone call never ended. And he was about to leave with his dog while he was still on speakerphone. And I was like, God, like I cannot. And I'm like a somewhat shy for this sort of thing. But I was like, I'll be fucking goddamned if I don't disrespect him and ask for a photo. I just have to do this, right? I have to be disrespectful. I went against all of my principles. So I went up to him. I asked for a photo, got a photo, and just said, as he's leaving, I'm like, excuse me, I'm a huge fan. Can I get a quick photo? Got a photo, thanked him, and I did not want to extend his day any longer than it needed to be there. He was trying to leave. I'm gracious for the photo. I did not want to burn it with the content. And honestly, part of me is like, I like being really honest in my videos. Part of me is a little afraid of what an NBA player might think of me. Because it's like, yeah, I want all the guys to succeed, but I can be critical of Scotty Barnes. I don't know. I guess my fear is I don't want them to not like me, right? But I guess that's part of the game. But I think it's a given that I don't think he would know me well enough to recognize me. I think it's a given that Raptors players are aware of my content. Boucher, I'd wager a lot of money he's seen some of my videos. I cannot confirm this. I don't know why this person would lie, but somebody has reached out to me, supposedly in Emmanuel Quickly's camp, and said he's a fan of the channel because I gas up Quickly a lot. Not that he doesn't deserve it. I just gas like. This was months ago. I never brought it up because I don't know how valid it is. Apparently, somebody in Quickly's camp who sent it would have been a pretty elaborate plot to fake this, right? They sent like screenshots of conversation with Emmanuel Quickly. Apparently, Emmanuel Quickly likes the channel. Cannot confirm at all, so that's why I don't bring it up. I have not brought it up till now, but it's a way higher than 0% chance Emmanuel Quickly has seen stuff from the channel as well. I'm sure many others have. I mean, if you go on YouTube and search Toronto Raptors, this might be embarrassing now, but go on YouTube, search Toronto Raptors. Let's actually even make this less convenient. Let's go on a guest sign in on Google. We're browsing as a guest. If you type in Toronto Raptors, my video should come up, right? And Toronto Raptors, let's see. Tough. See, now none of my videos come up. Raptors Digest, Cruzano. Okay. Usually, see, I knew I embarrassed myself. Usually, if you type in Toronto Raptors on YouTube, my videos come up. I'm scrolling a long time, and none of my videos are appearing. This is humbling. Yeah. None of mine. I'm just curious. Oh, here we go. Hey, I told y'all. Eventually, one of my videos will pop up. But if it's a day where one of my videos is doing well, it'll be higher up. And sometimes you can Google let's humble myself. Sometimes you can just Google search Toronto Raptors and my videos will come up. Let's go. I'm gonna cheat and do videos. Let's see. No, not today. Not today, but some days they do pop up. Anyways, yeah, Mubsy been doing great things. It's amazing to see his progress on YouTube all this time. Anyways, my point is, I'd be surprised if Raptors fans hadn't been aware of my channel, which I don't know how I feel about that. Tell you who I don't want to know how they feel is Darko Rajakovic, because I don't like him as a coach, and I've made that very aware. Anyways, guys, I've gone way over time here. That's all for me for today. Thanks so much for the support. Thanks so much for tuning in. We did a weird stream today, but I think we had some fun. So if you did enjoy, make sure you do hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Raptors content. Emmanuel Quickly video scheduled for 1:30 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. It's already scheduled. It's already done. Uploaded to YouTube. Coming out at 1:30. Be there. I'll be back in my Toronto apartment next week for some more content. Hope to see you there. Subscribe if you're